Some of the most expensive decisions in fishing happen before anyone picks up a rod. A brand new base boat, trailer still clean, fewer than 50 hours on the motor, already sitting in a dealer service bay. Not because the engine failed, because of a crack that was always going to form, a livewell that was never going to hold water, an electrical system that was going to corrode from the first season forward. Decisions made at the factory before the hull reached the showroom. 6 specific boats end up here more than any others. Here is which ones, what fails, and why. The fishing boat market is dominated by high-volume manufacturers competing on price. White River Marine Group, owned by Bass Pro Shops, is the largest manufacturer of fishing boats in the world by sales volume, producing Tracker, Nitro, Triton, Ranger, Mako, and Tahoe from shared facilities. Lund and Crestliner are Brunswick brands. At this production scale, every quality control decision is made under throughput pressure. The consequences show up in the boats that come back. Tracker is the best-selling aluminum fishing boat in the United States by sales volume, a claim White River Marine Group makes in its own marketing materials. The boats are welded rather than riveted, which Tracker promotes as a structural advantage. The documented failure pattern tells a more specific story. Owner complaints across multiple independent consumer review platforms describe the same recurring issues: weld failures at the transom, livewell plumbing installed incorrectly at the factory, electrical connections never properly sealed, and warranty repair timelines measured in months. One documented case involves a new Tracker Pro 175 with confirmed factory hull leaks, held at the dealer for 7 months without resolution. Another involved a Pro Team model returned twice before a third replacement hull was eventually sent. An independent review of consumer complaints across multiple platforms documented warranty denial as a recurring outcome, with the manufacturer repeatedly attributing construction defects to owner misuse. The livewell plumbing routes connections below the waterline without the post-assembly inspection protocols used by premium builders. When those connections fail, water enters the hull. Nitro is the fiberglass bass boat brand under White River Marine Group, built in Clinton, Missouri. During the 2010 through approximately 2015 production window, the Z-Series developed a documented structural failure known as the hooked hull. The hull bottom develops a progressive concave curve from bow to stern, caused by resin shrinkage over time, combined with an inadequate laminate schedule. Owners documented boats running 68 miles per hour at purchase, dropping to the low 60s over subsequent seasons. The boat will not come onto the pad correctly, the spray pattern changes, and wide open throttle revolutions per minute drop while the engine is unchanged. Independent fiberglass shops quoted $3,000 and above for running surface correction, with no guarantee the hook would not continue developing. Nitro declined warranty responsibility on hooked hull claims, attributing failures to improper trailer bunk support. On a separate documented failure, a 2010 Z7 owner reported gel coat cracking at the rear running surface corners within 3 months of purchase. Returned to the factory for repair, it cracked again on the trailer ride home, then again within 5 minutes on the water. That boat spent over 260 days in the shop. Subscribe if this is worth knowing before you write a check on a used bass boat. Triton confirmed this one publicly. In 2014, Triton launched a full hull replacement program covering every 21 TRX built during a 12-month window, beginning in June of 2013. The cause, according to Triton, was the use of a different lamination schedule than previous 21-foot models, resulting in structural cracking below the rod lockers. The 21 TRX is designed to run above 70 miles per hour. Structural cracking at those speeds is not cosmetic. Triton said it was unaware the different schedule was being used until the problem was identified and corrected in June of 2014. Triton replaced every affected hull at no cost, covering original and second owners, with engine, electronics, and rigging transferred to the replacement hull. Any 21 TRX from this window on the used market requires one answer. Was the hull replaced? and is that documented in writing. Without it, the buyer is looking at a manufacturer-acknowledged structural defect with no paper trail proving it was corrected. That is a disqualifying condition until documentation exists. Base tracker aluminum boats from the late 80s through the late 90s were built with wood transoms and flooring using construction-grade plywood that was not sealed before assembly. A documented rebuild of a 1989 Pro 17 found the original floor plywood installed unsealed, with flotation foam molded directly underneath that had trapped moisture for years. When the floor came out, both the plywood and the foam required full replacement before the hull was structurally sound. The wiring contained no stainless hardware and no marine-grade connectors anywhere in the system. The transom used unsealed construction-grade plywood inside the aluminum skin. Motor mounting fasteners driven through that wood create water entry paths that deepen every season. As the transom softens, motor mounts loosen, rivets work loose, and the resulting flex accelerates every other failure simultaneously. A documented rebuild of a 1987 Pro 16 found the same sequence: rotted transom, unsafe wiring, stripped screws, and a floor that had to come out entirely before the damage could be assessed. Lund has manufactured aluminum fishing boats in New York Mills, Minnesota since 1948. In the 2001 model year, Lund transitioned to composite transoms, addressing a documented failure pattern on older models. Before that transition, Lund used construction-grade plywood inside the aluminum transom skin. An owner of a 1990 Lund Predator documented the failure on a fishing forum. A marine technician found the transom flexing half an inch at the motor mount underload, confirming wood that had lost structural integrity. The investigation confirmed construction-grade rather than marine-grade plywood had been used. Repair required full transom disassembly and replacement. When the owner contacted Lund, customer service learned the boat was 16 years old with a second owner and suggested a new boat. Lund's riveted construction carries ongoing maintenance requirements that welded hulls do not. Leaking rivets are identified by a black oxide ring at the rivet head caused by aluminum movement under load. Repair requires drilling out and replacing the affected fasteners. On a hull with multiple problem rivets, that is professional work. A pre-2001 Lund with no documented transom or rivet history carries unknown repair costs until the work begins. White River Marine Group produces Tracker, Nitro, Triton, Ranger, Mako, and Tahoe from a shared production infrastructure. Across that lineup, a documented failure pattern repeats. Electrical components that do not work at delivery, wiring harnesses with no service slack making post-sale repair nearly impossible, trolling motors wired with incorrect fuse ratings, bilge pump float switches that fail to activate, and gauges that are non-functional on the first trip. A new tracker taken to the water on its first day was documented with a non-functional fuel gauge and a non-functional trolling motor, requiring immediate return to the dealer. A new Nitro Z21 was found to have a transom crack during a jack plate installation. White River denied the claim, attributing the structural failure to the aftermarket transom saver. The owner's written correspondence directed to Bass Pro Shops leadership was rerouted to standard customer service. At this production volume, no single technician completes and inspects a full system from start to finish. The inspection that should happen at the factory is the one that happens at the dock on the first day of use. Tracker livewell failures show up as water in the bilge at rest. Confirm every drain exits overboard, not into the bilge. Fill the livewell at the dock and verify it holds water on plane. The Nitro hooked hull is visible on the trailer. A straight edge along the running surface reveals any concave curve. The Triton TRX requires written hull replacement documentation. No paperwork means the defect history is unverifiable. Bass Tracker and Lund transom failures need a flex test at the motor mount. Any movement under hand load means the wood is not sound. Pull the bilge panel on any used boat from this list. Rust or brown staining on the liner confirms chronic water introduction. Check every accessible electrical terminal for green oxidation. Get a full throttle test drive and confirm the hull reaches rated speed. A boat that cannot hit its published number has a problem that transfers with the title. The repair shop is not where a fishing season should begin.